was that my great-great-great-great-grandfather, Wyatt Presley Raper, put up the money to him and Carl Charles had this house, this church built in High Point, North Carolina. I'm very excited to finally get here and get to see the church and the cemetery because I have, when you look for free people of color or black people that came out of slavery, they had no records of where they may have been buried. But I actually found him in the cemetery. It's connected to the church, so I'm very happy about that. I think his mother is there also, but the headstone has been so weather beaten that I can't read it. But here is the information on the church. Okay, so it's the Turner Chapel AME Church, organized 1890, rebuilt in 1955. The Reverend M.L. Johnson is the pastor, and then it was remodeled in 1977. So I think this part over here was the old church, and then they have a newer part of the church over here. It's burning up out here. I feel like it's 100 degrees. But it's a beautiful day to me because I came all of this way. We actually went to Charleston looking at the meeting house down Meeting Street because there was also free people of color clothes and rapers there from from the late 1700s. Now, whether these two are connected, I haven't made that full connection yet, but it's funny that we would have co-rapers in South Carolina intermarrying in the late 1700s, and then co-rapers intermarrying in North Carolina in 1900s. So I'm going to go over to the cemetery. Okay, so this is the cemetery. It's not a big cemetery, but if you get panning around, you see a lot of cold names. And panning back to the church, baby. You see how close it is to the church? So that's how the close proximity it is to the church. So I came here to see if I could find my granddaddy, Wyatt Presley Raper, who, with, Mr. Charles, financed this original church to have it built, the AME church for colored people or Negroes, whatever, in High Point, North Carolina in the 1800s. Slavery ended in 1865. So you can see what date that was organized from what I read to you, which I forgot that fast. I'm very bad with numbers. So a lot of these codes I may not know from my genealogical research because I'm just trying to keep in line with my direct lineage because there's so many codes that I can't keep contact with all the distant cousins and aunts and uncles, unfortunately. It's hard enough to try to keep track with the ones that I am able to keep track of. It's hot as blazes out here. Whew. Thank you for the heat though, and the sunshine, thank you. All right. So where is he? Oh, he's here. Here he is. Wyatt Presley Raper. I don't know where his wife is. I don't see her here. I don't know where his mother is. I think his mother is back here on one of the low packs. But this is his wife, Nancy. He remarried after his first wife passed, I think. And this is his wife, Nancy. They didn't give her a really big headstone, but this is his second wife. He had children. So, back in these days, men may have remarried 2 or 3 times if they had small children because they needed a wife to stay home and take care of these children. I found information on his father, which was listed on their marriage license as Benjamin Armstrong. Armstrong is a Quaker name, but I haven't found any information on Benjamin Armstrong, which is driving me crazy. So, but Wyatt is listed as a mulatto, and his mother is listed as a Negro on census. So that makes me think that Benjamin Armstrong must have been Caucasian or white or whatever they want to classify themselves at this time. This is my great-great-grandmother, Banks Raper Cole. She was born in 1889 and died in 1937. This is so I guess, you know, I found there's a lot of other plots. I found it's a lot of flowers and stuff over here in these little trees. I don't know whether they've blown over there or whether there are actually maybe headstones that have been covered over. We have one over here that I think is Alice, but like I said, I didn't even think I would find anything. It was just a whim to come here because it's so, when they don't, you know, when you're listed as white back in the days, you had a cemetery, but black people, you may not have had a cemetery. So if you weren't connected to a church cemetery, we may never find them, you know. So if there's no records of birth, there's no records of death, it's hard to find. But this connection that he did with this church is how I was able to find him. And oh, I'm very emotional about this. Okay, let's go over and look at this one. And maybe we're looking at the video and the picture. Did you see all of these codes? They don't list who they are, but this is the AME Church. So this is the African Methodist Episcopal Church, and we need to do history to know what these churches are and what they stand for before we sign up for such things as what I call religion. And this was, you know, African means it's, you know, at a point we were getting kicked out of the churches, so we had to create our own churches. So here we go. This is a, you know, it's woo, sun. Girls, as best as I can tell, I think this is Alice. I can't really tell though, but to me this looks like an A. And I don't know 100%, but like I said, it's other ones that have fallen over back in the little trees, and we've already gotten a couple little mosquito bites, but I don't know where else she would have been buried, but I would have guessed that her son would have had her buried here. His mother, born in 1820, I guess she was a slave, because I didn't find anything about her as being a free person of color. I didn't find anything on them in the census until 1870. And so prior to that, 1850, 1860, I would have to look at slave schedules. And I could find, they came from Davidson County, and this is High Point. My grandmother, Mary Giles, which I didn't find here, was married to Raper before he married Nancy Palmer. So I don't know where they're married. They may be married, some of them may be buried at the Deep Creek Cemetery with the Quakers. So I may find that cemetery and walk around and see what I can find. Okay, we're gonna get in the car and move on and see if I can find the house. Oh, I didn't see Priscilla Brown. I didn't see any Browns out here either. And that was one of my grandparents' wives. So that's what I'm saying about these old cemeteries. We may not even, you know, some of them are falling over back there in the woods, and if we don't keep up our cemeteries where our ancestors are buried, we'll never be able to find them. Some of these tombstones are falling over and deep and heavy. I couldn't lift it up. So I'm very happy that we came. Frustrated, and I frustrated my husband because you know, I'm so animated. Thank you.